Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. I am Vishali Kikan and we are discussing the VLSI technology. In that we are discussing the plasma. So today we are going to focus upon the second application of the plasma, that is the use of the plasma in the etching purposes. So I hope you know the basics of the etching. Etching is the removal of any material from the surface of another material. So the plasma is used here, how it is used, what are the chambers that we are using. We are going to discuss about all of these things in detail in this video. So stay tuned with me till the end of this video and you will be getting a lot of new information. So now coming to the plasma etch chamber. So here we are using the ion bombardment. Okay. Why we are using the ion bombardment? The ion bombardment is used for the physical dislodgement of the atoms. So if I have the ions which are hitting the surface, so surface atoms will be removed because the bonds have been breaked. Okay, so there will be some breakage in the chemical bonds. So this is called the etching process. Okay, so now the ion bombardment is the property of the plasma. We can generate the ion bombardment with the help of generation of the DC bias. Okay, so we will be having the wafer which is placed on the smaller electrode so that we will be getting more and more of the DC bias. Okay, so more and more self bias will be there and more DC bias will be there if I have the smaller and smaller electrodes. So the ion bombardment energy will be high. On the wafer, if I have the RF hot electrode, the ion bombardment energy will be 200 to 1000 electrode volt. But on the lid, that is on the ground electrode, it is around 10 to 20 electron volt. Okay, it is due to the very negative voltage that we have. The more difference will be causing more and more self bias, which will be causing more ion bombardment energy. Now coming to the plasma etch chamber details. Okay, so we will be having the heat generation by the heavy ion bombardment. So whenever this ion is hitting the surface, because of the friction and because of the high momentum, the high energy ion is colliding on the surface, there will be a lot of momentum, there will be a lot of friction which is producing a lot of heat. So we need to control the temperature to protect the photoresist. Okay, otherwise the photoresist layer will be melting down. So we are using the water cooled wafer chunk. We are going to discuss in detail when we are going to discuss about the etching and the equipments related to etching. So I hope you will be joining me in that video as well. So now coming to the next condition, the lower pressure is not good to transfer heat from the wafer to the chunk, and this is the reason at the downside we require higher pressure. At the upside, I have already told you in the previous video, when we are doing the etching we require lower pressure so that I will be having same ion bombardment direction, otherwise the ion will be having different direction due to different pressure. So the helium backside cooling is required, and we will be having to clamp the ring. Okay, some physical support is required to clamp the ring, because at the backside we have high pressure, at the upside we have low pressure. The ring can fluctuate, so I require some clamp for the protection of the ring, for the protection of the wafer in the particular direction, or I can use the electrostatic chunk to hold the wafer. So now coming to the low pressure requirement. Why we are using the low pressure? Because we will be getting lower mean free path, which means low ion energy, which means lesser scattering, which means we will be having perfect isotropic profile. So low pressure, which means low mean free path, less ionization, collisions, and this is the reason it is very hard to generate and sustain plasma, even because how we were generating the plasma? Because of the collisions, because of the ionization and the recombination. But if the pressure is less, how can we generate the plasma and how can we sustain the plasma for a long time? So for that, magnets are used to force the electron to spin and travel longer distance to increase the collisions, and this is the reason we are using magnets in the low density and low pressure plasma to sustain it. Okay, in the etching process we will be using magnets also. So this is the schematic of the H chamber. So these are the process gases that are going here. Okay, so this is the grounded electrode. So this is here we have the plasma. This is called the full overall chamber is called the process chamber, and here we have the magnetic coils. So this is the wafer which is present on the electronic chunk or the cyclic chunk. So here we have the byproducts also. Byproducts are going to the pump from this direction. Okay, so in the downside also we are giving the RF power for the high pressure requirements, and here we are giving the backside helium cooling also, so that there will be removal of heat power that is generated. Now coming to the remote plasma process, we require free radicals to enhance the chemical reaction. As I have already told you, whenever we have free radicals, the chemical reactions will be enhanced, and we don't want to have the ion bombardment. Okay, so to avoid the plasma induced damage, we don't want to have the ion bombardment. So I will be using the remote plasma system. Okay, so if whenever we have plasma will be generating the ion bombardment, but sometimes we don't require ions, we require radicals to react with the uppermost layer, and so that they will be removing the uppermost layer. So for that I will be having the remote plasma process and remote chamber where I am generating the free radicals. So this is how the schematic of the remote plasma chamber will be looking like. So here we are having the process gases which are going here. We are giving the RF power to sustain the plasma, and here the gases, the free radicals are going here, and these free radicals are reacting on the surface of the wafer, and here we are using the heated plate so that the reaction rate will be faster. The free radicals will be reacting on with the surface material, and by which it is removing the surface layer, and this surface layer when removed, the byproducts will be going towards the pump. Now coming to the photoresist strip, we can remove the photoresist layer also right after the etching process. Why? Because the photoresist can damage and it can corrode the metal layer. Okay, so there will be some contaminants in the photoresist or oxygen particles in the photoresist which can corrode the metal, and this is the reason we want to remove the photoresist and we want to do the photoresist stripping. Okay, for that we should understand the O2 and H2O chemistry, and this process, the photoresist etching system, photoresist stripping system, can be integrated with the etch system, and this process is combined in situ with the photoresist etching system. So when we have etching system, in situ only we are performing the photoresist stripping also. It will be improving the throughput as well as the yield also. So now here you can see the photoresist stripping system. Here we are using the oxygen and hydrogen as the free radicals which are reacting with the photoresist, and they are removing the photoresist layer. So this is again the heated plate, the byproducts H2O, CO2 which are going towards the pump, and this is the process chamber, the wafer, and the plasmas, the remote plasma, and the process gases are H2O and O2O. Now coming to the remote plasma etching, it is used in the applications like the isotropic etch process, where it is used in the local oxide of silicon, and LOCOS, or it is used for the local oxidation of silicon, LOCOS, or it is used for the shallow trench isolation of the nitride strip. Okay, shallow trench isolation is used for the isolation of the two transistors. These two transistors which are present on the chip or the wafer, they should not be shorted out. For that we are using STI process. It can be used for the wine glass contact hole etching as well. It can be integrated with the plasma etch system to improve the throughput, and we are part of efforts to replace the wet process so that we will be having the remote plasma process. So you can see the remote plasma etch system. Here we are using the NF3 as the etchant and as the process gas, and here also we have remote plasma. We are getting the fluorine and the N2 as the radicals which are reacting with the wafer surface, and here we are having the byproduct which is N2 and SiF4. Okay, this is the process chamber and this is the heated plate. Now coming to the remote plasma clean, how we are cleaning the wafer with the help of the remote plasma. So deposition will not only be on the wafer surface. So if I am using the chemical vapor deposition, so we require a routine cleaning for that. Okay, so there will be some deposition on the walls of the chamber as well, and some chunk as well. There will be some deposition. We want to clean it. For the cleaning we are using the plasma. So it will be preventing the particle contamination due to the film crack as well. So plasma cleans with the fluorocarbon gases is commonly used method for the cleaning purposes. So here we have ion bombardment that affect and imparts the lifetime. So we have low dissociation rate of fluorocarbons and the environmental concern of the fluorocarbon releases. So all of these things we have to consider, because the fluorocarbons will be producing some fluoro gases which are very dangerous for the environment, and we will be having lower dissociation rate of fluorocarbon also, which affects our process. So we have the high density plasma. I have already told you about the high density plasma. The free radicals flow into the chemical vapor deposition chamber and they react and remove the deposited film, and this is how we are cleaning the chamber. Okay, so it is a gentle process. We will be having prolonged lifetime for the chamber. Okay, if I have higher dissociation, which means little fluorocarbons will be releasing. Okay, so whenever I am using it, I should use it with the utmost care. So here we have NF3. So this is the cleaning system. We have the plasma. Plasma will be making the free radicals like N2 and fluorine. So now the byproducts are N2 and SiF4, which is going to the pump, and this is my heated plate. Now coming to the remote plasma CVD process. Okay, how we are using the remote plasma for the chemical vapor deposition. So we are using epitaxial silicon germanium for high speed BiCMOS devices. Okay, but it is still in the research and development phase. We are using SiO2, SiON and Si3N4 as the dielectrics. If I want to use the high dielectric constant materials or high dielectric constant dielectric, I will be using HFO2 and titanium oxide and Ta2O5. So we can have the PMD barrier nitride also. So if I am using LPCVD, there will be budget limitations. If I am using PECVD, plasma induced damage will be there. So now coming to the high density plasma, in detail we are going to see it. So high density at low pressure we are desiring. In the etching process, what we want high density plasma, but we want low pressure as well. So the plasma sustenance at the low pressure is very difficult. So what we do, we are using the high density plasma. So we have lower pressure, which means mean free path will be higher, which means lesser ion scattering, which means I have better profile control, and this is the reason I want lower pressure. If I have higher density, which means more ions and more free radicals, which means if I have more free radicals, more chemical reaction, and if I have more ions, more ion bombardment. So I require both of them, high density and the lower pressure. For the CVD purposes, I require high density plasma in situ with the etching or deposition enhanced gap filling process. So now coming to the limitation of parallel plate plasma source. We will be having capacitively coupled plasma source. We cannot generate high density plasma very easily. It is hard to generate plasma even with magnets at the low pressure at about a few millitorr. Okay, so now I cannot use even the magnets, and it is very difficult to generate the high density plasma. The electron mean free path will be too long and there will be no enough ionization collisions. Now coming to the further limitations of the parallel plate plasma source, we cannot independently control the ion flux and the ion energy. Both are actually related to the RF power, and then we have the better process control which require plasma source that is capable to independently control the RF power, the ion flux as well as the ion energy. So I require to control ion flux and ion energy so as to control the profile and so as to control the etching rate as well. So what I require plasma source that is capable to independently control both of them. So now these are the references. If you have any doubt or if you want to discuss this topic in detail, so you can refer these books. These are really amazing books. Okay, so I hope now you don't have any doubt. If you have any further doubt, you can put the doubt in the comment and I will be trying to resolve your doubt as soon as possible. I hope you like this session. If you like it, please push the like button, subscribe to the channel and also do share it with your friends. Thank you so much.